Hello everyone and welcome back. In Sweden we have a store called Lidl, and previously I bought some quite interesting stuffs on Lidl. I bought my impact wrench on Lidl, and I also bought a plasma cutter which I reviewed here on the channel. Today I found a 12 volt oil pump. The brand is called Ultimate Speed. It looks like this. Unfortunately, I just done an oil change on my Jeeps just like yesterday, so it's typical that I found this one today because that would be an interesting thing to try. Anyway, I'm gonna start opening it up and see what's inside, and I think maybe I need to do the oil change, or at least now I have to do the oil change on maybe my CLK. The CLK is pretty good because the CLK is a European car that were designed to do the oil change from the top, so the oil filter and everything is in the top. So this would be perfect for that. There's a manual. Well, shouldn't really be needed because it's a 12 volt oil pump that are connected with two wires. Looks like these. These two wires, a positive and a negative, is connected to the battery of your car, and then there's an inside and there's an outside. So basically what you're doing is that you take, let's see what we have. We have one longer hose and one shorter hose. This one is more narrow, so this one goes down into the oil. I wonder if this would be able to penetrate the tube that goes down in the oil, because there's often like a small barrier there to go through, and this is the thicker one that's supposed to suck it up. So this is really like a no-brainer. One end goes down here. There's two included hose clamps, and it should be able to suck up the oil. There's really not much to it. There's just an on and off, and then it's supposed to do the work. Overall, it's solid build made of plastic. It said Ultimate Speed here, and I have no idea. I have no idea if it's how fast it's supposed to be or anything like that. Powered by 12 volt car battery. There's a 3-year warranty. For clean and easy oil changes, for pumping up engine oil, diesel and heating oil. Thermal clamps with insulated handles and practical spiral cable. And there's any, it sucks up 1.5 liters a minute, which is, well, that's if it's cold. Let's see. Engine oil, maximum 60 degrees, 0.2 liters a minute. That is, well, not much. But I suppose you could just like leave this going and just do something else meanwhile. Same as you're doing when you're removing the oil plug in the bottom. Let's try it out and see if it works well. Here's another close-up. There's some warning labels. Really not much to it. There's the on off in the top, and then there's the spiral cable and the positive and the negative. Small little unit, gonna be interesting to see if it actually works out great. So let's cut to that and try it on the vehicle. So we are out in the garage, and I put the hose clamps and the hoses on this one. So it's time to try it out. And I decided to try it out on the Mustang. And what I'm gonna do is just simply to drain some oil from it and then maybe put some new oil. I'm not really doing an oil change. I actually did an oil change just 2 days ago. Anyway, first thing, this one goes down into the dipstick. So I'm gonna remove the dipstick as a start. And there's some things that are like, important here. First of all, how easily does the hose actually goes down into the dipstick, because In some cases, there's a little like resistance. So another pump I tried was a little bit harder, so you could actually push it through. So that's one thing. And then of course, how good is it on sucking out the oil? So let's try to get it down in the dipstick. This is the end that goes down in the dipstick. So let's try to get it down. And this is where it stops a little bit. So this is the one I have to push through. And well, that is the problem. This one is too soft, so I can't really get it down there. That way I kind of guess that it makes it a failure. My review could just end here and said, well, this one is not good for making an oil change on your car. Everything comes down to this hose. It's not able to penetrate through and get down to where the actual oil is. I'm not saying that this one would not be bad for actually changing out the oil in differentials, maybe gearboxes and stuff like that. We learned that on my Mustang, it's difficult to get the hose down in the hole to actually get the oil up. However, I'm not really giving it up that easy, so I brought in the Jeep, even if it rains a lot outside, and I thought, let's try it out. And well, to my surprise, the hose goes down without any issues. So it might be different from vehicle to vehicle, and on your vehicle, it might not work. So this is where we started out. We have the hose here, and we have the pump. The hose goes down into where the dipstick is. And on this vehicle, it goes down without any issue. Okay, there's absolutely no oil coming up. Question is if I'm deep enough. Well, actually there is some oil in here, so I think I was just too impatient. So let's get it back in and connect it to the battery again. And let's start the pump. It's a good way to drain the battery. The sound just changed and there's oil coming out in the pipe. So it does something. You clearly see that it pumps up the oil now. Since I don't want to drain the oil in this vehicle, we're going to set it up for a different test. We're going to take oil, we're going to take 4 liters, or that's like 4 quarts of oil, and we're going to transfer it from one can into another one and see how long it takes. This is our test setup here. In this one I have almost 3 quarts of oil and this one is empty. So I hooked it up to a battery and let's see how long it takes. It's not really fast, but it kind of does the job. You could just put this on and go do something else meanwhile. One might wonder, what is the price for this one? Well, it's under $20. So, well, it's not an expensive part, but it kind of, I guess it does the job on some vehicles in some situations. Let's continue with this and see how long it actually takes. I decided to call it early. 6 minutes and 22 seconds. That's what it took for the pump to transfer 1 liter of oil from that can into the other one. 6 minutes and 22 seconds. 1 quart, 1 liter is just about the same. This difference is just very small. So let's do some summary. The pump kind of did what it's supposed to do. It sucked up the oil. However, in some vehicles, there is some issue to actually get the pump down in the dipstick tube. Even if it would work to suck up all the oil from a vehicle, I would say that it takes quite a lot of time to do that. It took 6 minutes and 22 seconds to suck up around 1/4 of 1 liter of oil. If you then think about it, that some vehicles have like 4 liter, even up to 6 liter, and even more oil. 6 liters of oil would take like around 36 minutes to just suck it up through the pump. Then you need to take in consideration that this pump is running out of the battery from the car, and it would probably drain all the battery in the car even before it would finish up. So I don't really see the point of using it to drain the oil. Exception could be like if you have an extremely low car, which is a big pain to get up in the air. But maybe if you have that kind of car, maybe, or you should, not maybe, you should probably invest in another oil pump that is way faster, because this one is not really useful for like big oil changes. However, I could see it useful in situation when it comes to like changing the oil in differential gearboxes and stuff like that, where the capacity of the fluid is much lower. Adding like 1/4 of fluid, or took like 6 minutes, considering that it took 6 minutes, well, 12 minutes to quarts, well, that is more acceptable. So for like getting fluid into transfer cases, differentials, gearboxes and stuff like that, it's going to be useful. However, my favorite tool to get fluid into those kinds of stuffs is actually to use like a syringe, where you just like fill up the syringe and then you press in all of the fluid. Another way of doing it is to actually just use the can where the fluid comes from and add a hose on that. So there is some options to how you would get the fluid into stuff like that. I consider this small little pump to be one extra tool in the arsenal to doing fluid changes like this, also even to get some fluid out of stuffs. So I am a little bit divided what I am actually thinking about this pump. It kind of does a job. It's not really expensive, but there is better options and there is options that is worse. It's useful for something, but not useful for everything. If you want to see more product reviews, click here to see the full playlist with that kind of content. And if you don't want to miss out any of my content, click here to subscribe. Also, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments below what kind of oil pump you are using and how you're doing your oil changes and stuff like that. Thanks for watching, and I see you later.